Hello, everyone, and welcome to Art Battle in Montreal. We are just getting ready for round number one, which will take place in just a few minutes. We are going to have 12 incredible artists stepping up to the easels tonight. We're going to have 2 qualifying rounds of 6 artists each. And then from those rounds, we're going to take the top 2 artists as voted by the audience and put those top 4 into a final showdown round with another 20 minutes on the clock. So if you would like to vote in this event, head over to artbattle.com/AB2497, the link that is on your screen. Our first round in Art Battle Montreal coming up in just a few minutes.
OK, alors, j'aimerais savoir si le peintre CREAPRATICS, est-ce que tu es dans la salle? Sinon, on va demander à un peintre du deuxième round de peindre sur ce round. En tout cas, viens me voir si tu es arrivé. On n'attend pas après toi, mais on va commencer vers les 8h15 et 20. Bienvenue à tout le monde. On continue avec DJ Aikido.
Once again, we are here for Art Battle in Montreal tonight, and we are just getting ready for our round number one, our first round featuring our first 6 artists stepping up to the easels. And these guys will only have 20 minutes on the clock to go from blank canvas to beautiful masterpiece right in front of your eyes. So make sure that you get registered to vote at artbattle.com/AB2497. Round number one coming right up.
Tengo ganas de escribir.
Bonsoir tout le monde, bienvenue à la quatrième et l'avant-dernière du Art Battle Montréal. Je vais inviter les artistes du premier round à, pendant 10 minutes, préparer leur pinceau, leur peinture, et dans 10 minutes, on va commencer le premier round. So the artists from the first round, you have 10 minutes to get your palette ready, and we're going to start with Liza Perreault, Julian Cargnello, Faye, Becks Simpson, Nadine, and Clément. In 10 minutes avec DJ Aikilo. Enjoy. Alors, we're going to start the first round in pretty soon. Mais je vais vous présenter encore des artistes du premier round. Liza Perreault, Julian Cargnello, Faye, Becks Simpson, Nadine, what a beautiful name, and Clément. So we're starting, and vous comptez avec moi dans 10, 9, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bon premier round. OK, DJ Aikido.
Right now, taking on the clock and battling these blank canvases as well as each other. Up at the easels right now, we have Lisa, Julian, Kira, CREAPRATICS, and Jean-François. Here we are with Clement, who is laying down what looks like some black electrical tape. And we can see that he's actually taking the tape and tearing it down the middle. So it's a wider piece and he's tearing it to make it thinner. And this is a really interesting technique and one that I'm not sure that I've seen before at Art Battle, actually, where he's getting all of these really interesting torn edges on the tape and also able to get all of these different line widths with just one tool. So that's very, very interesting and loving the technique already. And Clement is an artist who has been at Art Battle Montreal many times before, and so very happy to have him back at the easel. Here we are with Nadine at easel number 5. And Nadine looks like she is starting off with a figurative work. I can see a little bit of sketch work has been done already at this point. Looks like she's been using maybe some charcoal or some graphite and is layering this gorgeous buttery yellow color over top. And here we are with Becks. And Becks is an artist who I've been very excited to see on the stream. Becks describes her work as being heavily influenced by growing up in Australia. She's from Australia. And I also was picking up on some influences of fantasy in her work as well, and almost like an Art Nouveau quality and quite illustrative. So really looking forward to seeing where Becks goes with this piece. Once again, these artists only have 20 minutes on the clock to go from blank canvas to incredible masterpiece right in front of your eyes. So make sure that you head over to artbattle.com/AB2497 because the action does not stop there. You guys have a job as well, and you must vote for your favorite artists. The top 2 artists from this round and top 2 artists from our next qualifying round of 6 artists will move forward into a 4-artist final showdown at the end of the night. All right, moving over to Faye here. And we can see that Kira has got all of these incredible colors just playing with each other right now, and so many different kind of competing transparencies as well within this color story. I'm really enjoying the different layers that Kira has going on here. We've got the base layer being this gorgeous bright yellow, and then we've got little pops of orange and darker blues and a gorgeous transparent, almost like a jade green happening in our foreground there. And right now this piece is quite abstract, but I know that Kira tends to bring some presentational elements into looking forward to and technology and offering that into his work. And is very, very interesting, and is an artist whose layering capability and ability to create traditional evoke this technical feel is totally immersed in it. And we can see all of these short strokes happening with lots of points of contrast here, and it almost looks like Julian has laid down drips of color that he then goes back into to kind of spread them throughout. So it looks like he's kind of mapped out the general spaces of his piece and then goes back and kind of smears them and takes up the rest of the space. So that's a very interesting mode of kind of mapping out a piece. I don't think I've ever seen that before. And here we are back with Liza. And Liza was our artist that last time we saw her, I think we were about 30 seconds in, and we just had blue all over the canvas with little pop of purple. And now that has completely changed, and we now have a kitty cat ice cream cone. So I really love that Liza is just having so much fun with this piece, and we're definitely getting into this kind of surreal space. We're getting into whimsical quality, and something that's really cool too about this piece is the level of texture that she's got going on in the ice cream and also kind of on the waffle cone. So very, very cool. Back with Clement here, and I am so stoked to see even more paint or even more tape being added to the canvas. This is crazy. I'm so stoked on this. Oh my God, yes. I'm so happy that we're here for the tape pull. I'm always so sad when we miss an artist doing their tape pull, but our wonderful camera person, Dennis, has caught the perfect moment there. And we're getting that really interesting reveal of all of those lines being just stripped away from the canvas. That's super interesting. I love seeing all of the different segments of color. And we're also getting kind of a double view right now of Liza and how she's continually adding all of this texture into the work, particularly into the waffle cone of her piece. And speaking of texture, here we are with Nadine, and Nadine has decided to add just so much texture into the background of her figurative piece here. And the level of texture that she's added here, it almost looks like icing, and there's something that's quite physical about it, and the depiction of the figure is quite sensual as well. And so the techniques that she's using of using this thick, soft, buttery texture is really starting to mirror the kind of sensuality that's depicted in the figure. So really interesting way to kind of marry those two techniques. Back with Becks. Oh, looks like we've skipped Becks for now, but I think that we're getting a space scene. Back over with Faye here, and we are not disappointed. We are definitely getting some representational elements that are revealing themselves. Looks like we've got a few different heads. I'm not sure whether or not this is disembodied heads or if we've got a crowd of heads going, but there's definitely an emotive quality here where we can see that the shapes of the eyes are in these kind of inverted triangles, which are communicating this face of worry. So that makes for a very interesting contrast when we've got all these bright colors in the background. Back with Julian here, and Julian is just continuing to pick at this piece in the most thoughtful way, and it's really quite mesmerizing to watch. He's so intuitive in the way that he's choosing to place these marks, and is really, you can tell that he's just kind of feeling where each mark needs to go next. Back over with Liza here and our kitty cat ice cream, and we've got some chaotic marks that have been introduced into the background, which is kind of adding to the darker surreal quality that she's got going on here, and it's a really interesting juxtaposition to the fun depiction of the cat in the ice cream. We are just about past our halfway mark here for our first round of Art Battle in Montreal. head on over to artbattle.com/AB2497 and make sure that you get registered to cast your vote. The top 2 artists as chosen by the audience and the top 2 artists from our next qualifying round will move forward into a 4-artist final showdown. So this is where it counts. Every vote is super, super important. We often are hearing that the votes are very, very close. And so if you're having trouble making up your mind, make sure that you cast your vote by the end of the round. Back with Nadine here, and she's now starting to add in some really interesting symbology. I think that potentially this could be typography as well. Almost looks like a kind of a medieval style of lettering. And we've got lots of flourishes happening here as well. Back over with Becks Simpson, and I'm so stoked on that piece. We have a narwhal in a space helmet. We have skipped it again, but I'm sure that we will get a chance to see it before the round is out. Back with Faye here, and we can see that Kira is just starting to layer more colors into the heads of her figures here. And Kira is also, I think, adding, I feel like this is probably going to end up being another head, or it's going to be like a sun in the distance. So she's got quite the bright yellow background going on, and then she's got a little bit of lighter space up in that top corner and is now adding a yellow orb on top of that. So it will be revealed what that's going to be. So fun watching Julian go at this piece with such a small brush as well. And we can also see that he's kind of hovering his brush a little bit above each stroke before he places it. So there's lots of thoughtfulness going on there. Back with Liza here, and Liza has now introduced the addition of, I think this is some pen work, and we're getting some really fine detail. Back with Clement here, and oh my goodness, this is now turning into a landscape. I completely would not have called that at all. That's so interesting. We have some perspective of buildings happening, and I think that we've got some water in the foreground. What an incredible performance to see Clement go from this super, super interesting abstract with all of these different tape lines and everything to being something representational, that landscape. Definitely unexpected, and I think that that's going to get him performance points as well. Back with Becks, and now we are getting a chance to see the narwhal that she's been working on, and this really interesting space scene. Our narwhal has a little bit of like a worried expression too, which is very endearing. And the narwhal's horn is piercing out of its space helmet and actually has a planet stuck on it. This is so much fun. I really love when artists bring a bit of sense of humor and satire to the easel at Art Battle as well. We have just about 5 minutes remaining on the clock in our first round of Art Battle in Montreal. These guys have done such a fantastic job already. I have to say that I'm really impressed by the breadth of styles at the easel. So definitely a congratulations to and shout out to our on the ground event producer, Nadine, who is booking the artists. And we are also booking artists ongoing for Montreal events. And if you would like to be featured in the next one, go to artbattle.com/artists and apply. We would love to see your work. I'm enjoying the addition of some minor geometric elements within this piece, and that he's kind of keeping those within the black line work. So we have that kind of little square that's up in the corner there, up in the top corner, and that's almost mimicking like a computer screen. Lisa is just adding all of these flourishing touches to her piece, and I think that we now have the addition of some metallic gold. We have just a few minutes remaining on the clock. Excuse me, guys. A little sort. With only a few minutes remaining on the clock, these artists are doing such a fantastic job at adding in their final details to their pieces. I have to say that I think each artist really did a fantastic job at budgeting their time, because I'm not seeing anyone rushing to finish. Everybody looks very relaxed with the pieces that they've created so far, and just very confident. And I always love seeing that up at the easel. Often the last few minutes of a round can be a little bit chaotic. We see artists kind of rushing, but these guys are just seeming really, really chill. Oh, very cool. This is super interesting. So Kira is now connecting all of these heads within the foreground here, and just really continuing to kind of underline that super surreal element that she has going on within this piece. Julian placing his final marks on this gorgeous, super layered abstract piece. Liza looking completely confident and finished with her piece. I love the final element that she added in with the pupils of the cat. Just really sets it off and helps the character to connect to the audience. Back over with Clement here, and almost all of the tape lines that he had originally created are completely obscured and have just been used as guidelines. This piece has come together in such an incredible and engaging way. I feel like the audience is going to completely feel connected to him and connected to the way that that piece is unfolded. Back with Nadine here, and as her final moments of this piece unfold, she is just kind of dabbing on just a little bit more texture, bringing some of the color from the body up onto the face as well, which is a really nice harmonizing touch. Back with Becks here, and we can now see that she actually has some constellations incorporated there.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bravo aux artistes. Nadine and Clément. So can the artists sign their canvas first, and you have to vote online, you know. Vous pouvez voter en ligne. Vous avez le numéro. Les toiles sont à l'encan toute la soirée. Il y a 50% qui va aux artistes. Et voilà, je remercie Denis de Alphile Virtuel qui est là pour le streaming live, et la shop et Omer de Serre. Alors, on vous laisse 10 minutes. Encore, puis on va s'installer pour le deuxième heure. Merci d'être là.
Voting is now open for round number 1 of Art Battle in Montreal. Head over to artbattle.com/AB2497, the link that is on your screen, and choose your favorite artist. I know that I'm going to have a hard time picking who to vote. There are definitely a few standout pieces within this round that I've particularly enjoyed. Clement, the artist that we're looking at right now, I know has been one of them. And also Nadine, this beautiful, sensual, figurative piece. It's going to be a tough choice, so make sure that you make your choice so that you can support these artists. We are often finding that votes can be super, super close. So when you're looking at which piece to choose, think not only about the beautiful visual of the piece, but also whose performance you enjoyed the most, because you could potentially get to see them paint again in round number 3. We will have our second qualifying round of 6 artists stepping up to the easels in just about 10 minutes. So stay tuned for our second round.
Ils vont m'aimer en Irak, excellent citoyen, pas parfait mais pas loin, pour manger du poisson, m'en va faire du ski de fond, pour m'acheter des records de Michel Rivard, me faire semblant, c'est intéressant, quand ouais les mon gars, pas d'alcool, pas de tabac.
Okay, we're trying to fix the voting problem. It's going to be fixed in a moment, okay? Est-ce que c'est correct online? Vous pouvez voter sur l'étoile actuelle de... Not yet? OK. OK, en attendant les artistes du premier round, vous pouvez nettoyer vos tables. The artists from the first round, you can clean up your paint and your brushes. We're gonna set the second round slowly, and we're working on the voting thing. À tout de suite. en communication avec Toronto. On essaie vraiment de rattraper le truc du vote. It's gonna get fixed soon. Anyway, the second round, j'invite les artistes du deuxième round. You can get ready. You have 10 minutes to get your brushes and all your stuff ready for the second round. So Anyo, Tatyani Quintanilha, CREAPRATICS, Penelope Angelin. Kervens Fils, t'es là, Kerven? Yeah, all right. Violet Faye. Alors, vous avez 10 minutes. You have 10 minutes to get ready for the second round. Et les votes, ça va s'arranger dans vraiment pas longtemps.
So we're working on the voting situation. It won't be long. We're in constant communication with Toronto. And the next artists are preparing their painting, the paint. And there's also a tirage, so you can vote, buy tickets to win this art piece on the right of DJ Aikido. It's from the artist Anyo. So one for $3, two for $5, five for $10. Yes, exactly. So just to make sure we don't make mistakes, there you go. So enjoy for the second round coming up, and thank you to that shop and Desire.
all the artists are ready? Est-ce que tous les artistes sont prêts pour le deuxième round? Oui? On a Anyo. Oh, all right. Et la toile qui est en tirage, qui est là, juste à la droite du DJ Booth, Steve vend des billets toute la soirée. C'est 1 pour 3 2 pour 5, 5 pour 10. C'est Anyo qui l'a fait il y a deux mois, je crois. Ça fait longtemps. Elle était partie au Mexique, la belle. Elle est de retour. Moi, j'adore son art. Kervens Fils, Violet Face. On fait le décompte ensemble dans 10, 9, 8, 5, 3, 2, 1. OK, have a good round. Et je crois que c'est réglé en ligne pour voter. Dites-moi oui. Non?
All right, we have just begun our second round of Art Battle in Montreal. We have our second set of 6 artists up at the easels right now, and they are taking on these blank canvases, doing their very best to create incredible paintings right before your eyes. This artist here we can see is working with a marker. And here we are at easel number 2 with Tatyani, who is working on a portrait, looks like, and is starting to roughen this portrait with either some oil pastel or maybe potentially some charcoal. I always love seeing how artists begin their paintings. It's so interesting to see how they create those first marks. Here we are with Anyo. And Anyo is working on a marker sketch right now with a Posca marker. Posca marker is an acrylic-based paint marker and a personal favorite of mine, might I add. And Anyo is really well known for creating these animal portraits, these anamorphic portraits that incorporate human qualities with animals. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that monkey portrait evolves. Here we are with Violet Face. And Violet describes her work as being very cathartic and based in visualizing emotions. So I think that is just such an incredible, engaging way to create, and something that's quite vulnerable to bring up to the easel at Art Battle. So I very much appreciate that. Here we are with Kervens, and I'm definitely stoked on what Kervens has going on right now. He's also using, I think, some charcoal and sketching out this piece, and now we can see that he's actually misting the piece with some water from a spray bottle. I love that technique, something that we don't see very often. And so this is almost turning the charcoal that he's created into paint, like a watercolor paint on the canvas. This is just incredible. We can see that he's adding in some darker darks already, just really upping the ante with that contrast. And we can see the Kervens is going in with a paintbrush, and the more water that he's adding on top of this charcoal, the darker it's getting. I'm so interested in that technique. Here we are with Penelope, and Penelope describes her work as being very much based in life and taking energy from her surroundings. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the Art Battle energy affects her work at this point. We're still quite in the abstract, but I think that Penelope is going to end up potentially with a portrait or something along those lines. I think that we're starting to see some hands emerging. I love this kind of ghostly quality that's happening right now. I feel like maybe some hands holding a phone, and she's just kind of wiping out the drawing that she's created previously. I'm feeling like Penelope must be an oil painter in her studio, because we often see oil painters wiping away their underdrawing in that way. Here we are with CREAPRATICS, quite the artist name, and we're gonna get such a good moment right now. He's laid his hand on the canvas. Oh my god, so cool. This is awesome. Really, really interested in what CREAPRATICS has going on right now. He's loaded up his palm with all of this white paint and is using his body and his hands to create the impressions on this purple field that he's created already. So he's working very much wet on wet, and we can see that the canvas itself has got to be quite wet, because the initial handprint that he laid down, a lot of that paint is being dragged down by drips of water from the underlayer underneath that. I wonder where this is gonna go. I'm very excited. With Tatyani, who is really fleshing out this portrait at this point. Something that I'm really enjoying about this piece is the hollows underneath the eyes. There's definitely a great emotive quality coming from this piece already, as she's getting into this drawing and just adding in more and more contrast and allowing for very obvious marks. Nothing is too overly blended, and I think that that is giving it this really wonderful energetic quality. Now we have Anyo, and Anyo is still working on this portrait of his chimp here, and I think that the chimp is actually going to be an albino chimp. We're going to get a white ape here. This is super cool. I'm loving the illustrative quality that's achieved here, and he's just so wonderful at being able to capture emotion within this illustrative context and apply it to an animal so that it feels like we're relating to it as a human. Very, very cool. Some really nice line work is there. And fun to see Anyo blending painting techniques with drawing techniques as well. Back with Violet Face, and Violet is adding in, so this to me is communicating a very abstracted portrait, and it's giving this kind of frenetic, frantic energy, which I think is really engaging. And the addition of yellow into the eyes is creating this kind of unsettling quality that is very engaging. Moving back over to Kervens. And Kervens has given us some really, really cool elements within this piece. Not only has he executed this portrait, but we're now starting to get into some additional elements where he's adding in these incredible trees in this kind of ghostly, almost like a double exposure kind of way. I'm loving this piece. This is super cool. I admire Kervens' ability to play with transparency here. And just adding in those eyebrows to kind of really solidify the presence of this portrait here. I actually really like what Kervens just did. He connected the two nostrils that were representing the nose and just kind of created a larger shape. And I just think it communicates better from farther away rather than having the two black holes as nostrils. Having that more singular shadow, I think, just communicates better. Back with Penelope, and Penelope is just achieving this really incredible softness from this piece. And we can see also where she's got the darker strokes happening in the jacket. There's this like drag that's happening of the brush that allows you to see the canvas underneath. And it's just got just such a gorgeous painterly quality. Back with CREAPRATICS, and he just looks like he's having so much fun. He looks like an artist who is someone that really enjoys engaging in the process of the piece. And that kind of interest and joy is contagious at Art Battle. I think that when an audience sees the artist enjoying a sense of play and really engaging with their materials the way that CREAPRATICS is, they feel connected to the piece and they feel connected to the artist. So I think that CREAPRATICS is going to get some performance points here. Back with Tatyani, and we're just continuing to kind of delve deeper into this portrait here. She's now adding white pastel over top of the initial drawing and painting to kind of bring back some of those highlights. And it's really helping to bring forward certain points of the face, definitely helping to give us an understanding of where the light source is coming from, and really engaging that play of contrast. I feel like I'm also seeing a little bit of typography up at the top that I don't think that I had noticed before. If you guys are seeing that and you're interested to figure it out and you want to tell me, jump on the chat in YouTube. I'd love to hear your opinion on what Tatyani's piece says at the top. And would also love to hear from anyone about their favorite piece so far in round number 2. Back with Anyo here, and I feel like this should have been obvious to me earlier, but I totally didn't get it. I really thought that this was just a blue sky with a little crescent moon. But we can see quite obviously now that Anyo is turning this yellow shape into a banana, having lots of fun with it, and just really enjoying his overall approach here. Something that I often gravitate towards with art battle pieces also is when there's almost like a painting within a painting where they leave a little bit of a margin. I always think that that's an interesting technique. Back over with Violet Face here. And we can see that she has just continued to add and add and add all of this texture. And we have so much texture coming from the hair that she's chosen this teal color and is layering white over top. And is using a pretty small brush. And the use of the small brush is helping to kind of create these channels within the buildup of paint that is just continuing to really underline that textural effect that she has going on. I'm wondering whether or not she is going to bring the red from the back eye forward into the other eye as well and kind of harmonize that, or if she's going to intentionally leave that. Kervens just killing it with this piece, just continuing to add and give us all of these interesting components that come together in such a wonderful, engaging way. We now have this really stark shape of the circle up in the corner, and I'm sure the Kervens is going to add some additional design elements within that. Back with Penelope, And Penelope is starting to add in her darkest points of contrast. We can see that she's really darkened up the shadow underneath the chin of our figure, and is working into the hair as well to kind of darken some of those pieces. I hope that she leaves some elements of these light wispy brush strokes, though. I'm really loving that, especially when we get in close and we're able to see the gesture of the hand that Penelope has created. It's really wonderful. And hands are super hard to paint, let alone in 20 minutes. Back with CREAPRATICS here. And this piece has taken on kind of an ominous quality that I'm actually really enjoying. And we now have the addition of these golden feet. So no longer is this piece completely monochrome. Getting into some more focused eye contact with Tatyani. And we can see as she's making these marks, she's doing this thing with her hand where she's kind of flourishing at the end, which is just contributing to the energy of the piece and the mark that she's making. I was wrong. It's not an albino chimp. We have now gotten into the color space, and Anyo has darkened up all of the fur here. So we can really see that in the last 5 minutes, the artists, no matter how different their pieces are, start to make really similar choices, where in the last 5 minutes, they've kind of mapped out everything that they initially wanted to get done with their piece to kind of guide the piece. And then in our last few minutes, we get these opportunities for putting in contrast. So we can see that Anyo has done that by adding in this darker fur to his chimp buddy. And now we can also see that he's adding a little crown too, which is a fun addition and stylistic element. Back with Violet Face here. And I'm kind of just cluing in now that her piece very much has to do with her artist's name. The face of the portrait that she's creating is indeed purple, or at least purpley in hue. So I think that's going to be really fun. And I think people are going to engage with that as a piece of the artwork and are going to feel that the piece is connected quite directly to the artist.
Anyo, Tatyani Quintanilha, CREAPRATICS, Penelope.
Back with Kervens here, and Kervens has now moved into that kind of contrast space that we were just talking about, where he's really concentrating on adding the points of highlight. And we can see that he's just very gently placed these catch lights within the eyes of the piece, and it gives this incredible haunting quality. Back over with Penelope, and I totally did not anticipate her throwing in a background color, but it absolutely works for this piece. It really sets off all of the golden tones that she created, and I just love the way that there's a little bit of a chaotic placement in the way that she's put in this background color. We can see a lot of brush strokes, and there are little bits of the background color underneath coming through. I love this piece. Love this piece from Penelope. Back with CREAPRATICS. And CREAPRATICS has now added in a hair element, I think, to his character here. Just giving us a little bit more fun from this piece. Kind of taking it from being something that was reading a little bit more ominous into something that is just a little bit more fun. And that's kind of what you get with CREAPRATICS. He's known for creating pieces that are really unexpected. Getting into our final minute of the round. If you have not yet registered, head over to artbattle.com/AB2497 and make sure to cast your vote for your favorite artist. The top 2 artists from this round and the top 2 artists from our first round will be moving forward into a 4-artist final showdown with another 20 minutes and another blank canvas up at the easels. So make sure that you choose carefully which artist you want to vote for. Not only should you be thinking of the visual quality of the painting that you like the best, but also which artist's performance did you find the most engaging? Who do you want to see paint again? Back over with Anyo, and he has just added in some details of some clouds within the background, which is just this really cool design element that almost reads like a background wallpaper. I love the way that he is layering these flat elements. We can really sense the energy of the room as well here. The crowd is just super engaged with these artists, going right up to the easels, making sure that they can see the action up close. Also, all of the works created tonight are available for silent auction. So if you are not in the room tonight, you can still bid on them. Go to artbattle.com/AB2497 to cast your vote and also to bid on these works. We will ship them to you.
OK, 39 secondes, 39 seconds to go. On fait du bruit pour Anyo. Tatyani Quintanilha, CREAPRATICS, on fait du bruit. Come on. Penelope Angelin, Kervens Fils, Faye, second round, avant-dernière avant la première. Le gagnant de ce soir se mérite une place au championnat national et 50 $ de matériel d'Omer de serre. Merci à la shop de nous offrir l'espace gracieusement chaque mois. Merci à Aikido, Aikido virtuel. Et je vous jure, on travaille sur le truc de vote, là, ça s'en vient. Alors, 10, 9, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Félicitations aux artistes du deuxième round. Anyo, Tatyani Quintanilha, CREAPRATICS, Penelope Angelin, Kervens Fils et Faye. On vous revient dans 10 minutes. Le temps, sérieux, ça va se régler, ça. J'en reviens même pas. All good. Vous passez une belle soirée? Moi, j'ai chaud. Je vous jure, ça va fonctionner.